the infrastructure levy, I'd like to play a little exercise here about where we started and how it's going. So how it got started and how it's got going. And for this, I'm going to use two examples. The first is a report that staff provided to us in 2017 after we first approved the levy. And they provided a clarification report leading up to the 2018 budget, whereby they were warning us about the pitfalls of not approving moving forward with the levy. In which case, staff recommended that we continue to increase the levy, so I'm reading from the report, by an additional 1% per year for each of the next 9 years, up to 2027. And Council will have the opportunity to deliberate and approve this increase on an annual basis. That's how we got started. How it's going is that we no longer talk about this levy. It's in the base budget, and we don't get to debate it on budget night. And every time I try, there's a rigidity there. The second one that I'd like to quote is from a council-approved motion back in 2016, prior to approving the levy beginning, whereby we talked about the identified need for infrastructure renewal funding, whereby the city's dedicated infrastructure renewal levy will address the historic lack of savings for infrastructure renewal projects. Creating this levy ensures funds are allocated to city infrastructure needs and are not used to fund operating costs. That's how it got started. How it's going is now a full acknowledgement that we're going to be using some of this money to fund operational growth. And a side note, we're also using it for city building projects too. That was quickly identified in 2018. We broke up the 1%. It's no longer for city renewal, as it was promised at the beginning. It's now for city building projects as well. So as someone who's been striving for accountability, transparency from the beginning, and I've had my brow beaten a few times at budget, I'm just wanting that acknowledgement that we started somewhere. We justified the infrastructure levy to the public 4 years ago, and today we are in a much different place, justified or not. We are changing the direction and design of the infrastructure levy, and I just wanted acknowledged that that is the case. I'll still be voting against it because I don't believe we've been as transparent as possible on this file. Even though the report was clear, we were very reluctant to admit that at Committee of the Whole. So I'll be voting against, but I do appreciate the time and letting me explain some of the reason why I'll be voting against and some of the concern that I'm hearing about why people grow cynical of politics when we justify a new tax, but within 4 years we have transformed that into something completely different, in my perspective. And there's a cynicism that comes with seeing that happen. And so I won't be supporting it because I haven't supported the direction from the beginning.